Hi, this is David Wood from SolutionBox and CoachMBA.com, and I'm coming to you from the rice paddies in Ubud, Indonesia. As the light's fading, I wanted to do a training for you because I got inspired today when I accidentally got a client, and I used this really ninja technique during the training that had her feel at peace in making a big investment for her life. But I want to tell you about the technique that helped her address her own objections and really look at those and bring them out so she can make a powerful decision and enroll. And you can copy and use this technique in your own free consultations when you're giving away value and wanting someone to also register in your coaching program if it would serve them. So here's how I did it. Firstly, I set up a free consultation the way I normally would, and I addressed this in another training. I set up the context. Then I checked in with her goals, and then I said, what stopped you in the past? Very important question, because if it was easy, you'd have it. What stopped you? And she gave me a big list, and I wrote all of those down. Then I say, how will coaching help? Which is the next stage of how I do free consultations, and she was able to list a bunch of things. I didn't have to push her. If I did need to give her a nudge, I'd go back to the previous question. All the things that were lacking is usually what coaching can provide. And then I asked a question I often don't ask, but I did this time. I said, if we were to work together, and that's future pacing, right? You're starting to get your client thinking about, or your prospect thinking about working with you. So if we were to work together for 3 months, assuming there's a part of you that's committed to keeping you right where you are, how would that part show up? How would it show up to sabotage you? And that was just such, just came through, and I asked the question, and she listed all sorts of stuff. She said, oh, I'd say I'm too busy. I'd say I'm too busy. I can't think about that right now. I'd be too busy helping others and being a martyr, and I'd be thinking I'm not important enough. So this is gold for your prospect, for your potential client, and for you to get these things out of in the open, because they're going to come up over the next 3 to 6 months, and they may come up as they're considering registering with you, because whatever's committed to keeping them where they are, it's going to have a say. So this was great. We just got it all out in the open. And I invited her to give this part of her a name, and she called it Sandra. She called it Sandra. Now, at the end, when we got to the part where I said, I'd like to work with you, would you like to work with me? If there's any hesitation, it's likely that it's going to be Sandra talking. It's likely it's that part that's going to be that voice, I'm not important enough. I'm not worth the investment. I'm too busy, I can't afford it. Now, because we'd already addressed all that, we didn't even have to. That was the beauty of it. Sandra didn't raise her head. She was just ready by the time we got to all that. She's like, yeah, I really want to do that. I'm really ready. I'm sick of all those things stopping me. So just by addressing that part and maybe giving it a name, you may not have to even address it at the end. But I did, with one final step, and I do this with every new client. At the very end, I like to check in, and I like to give Sandra, or whatever that part is, a chance to have a voice. And I said, so how are you feeling right now? This morning you didn't have a coach, now you do. And you should write this down word for word. I use it the same way every time, and it's such an important question. This morning you didn't have a coach, and now you do. And I've realized with my clients that it's not just a time investment. It's not just a financial investment, but it's an emotional investment. So I want to check in with you in this moment, right now. How are you feeling now that you've just made this big commitment for yourself? And that's where any hesitation or fear gets to have its voice. That's where Sandra gets to have a voice. She said, great. I'd done the job so well, or together we'd done the job so well, there was nothing. And usually you hear, I'm excited, and I got to say I'm nervous. And I say, great, then you're in the perfect place. She didn't even say that. So when she said, I feel great, I feel like this is the right thing, I said, great. And is Sandra there? Sandra got anything to say? I was able to prompt her, and she said, oh yeah, Sandra's there saying, oh, this is stupid, you're throwing away money, you're not going to make it work. And I said, great. And what's your response to Sandra? And she said, shut the fuck up. Her words. That's what she said. I said, okay, I got it. And I want to invite you to test out another response next time you hear Sandra. And you'll probably hear from Sandra this whole 3 months. And here's another response that you could try out. Thank you for sharing. Honestly, thank you. I know you're trying to help me, and it's not needed right now. I got this. I've looked at it. I really want to change, and I've got this. And she breathed that in. It's like, I said, look, you've been beating Sandra up just like she's been beating you up. You two are going at it with each other. I want you to consider altering your relationship with Sandra and saying thank you. I know you've probably saved my ass a bunch of times and you're trying to do it again. It's not needed right now. So there was some really, it felt so good to offer that coaching for her, and I planted some seeds that she might be able to change this relationship with that voice that's always coming in and start to have some fun with it. So I hope you can go and use this now in your free consultations. Call up a friend right now and say, I want to practice with you, or just call up someone and say, I'm offering 5 sessions this week, and I thought, who might I really like to offer that to? And your name came up. And go and practice this, which I think other people are calling voice dialogue. I just call it, let's find that part of you that's committed to keeping you where you are and give it a name, and let's hear from that. And then what would you like to say in response to that? And it just worked really well today, so I wanted to share it with you. Okay, if you like this video, I'd love you to click like below, and also leave me a comment with how you would describe what I just said to a friend. If you could say it in 1 line or 2 lines, what I shared with you in this training, how would you describe it? That's a way that you can anchor it for yourself. All right, cheers.